today's session, we're going to look at the proper use of notes to file, which do become essential documents in the clinical trial. What I mean by becoming essential documents is that this document has as much weight in the regulatory arena as any other document that you might collect during the course of the clinical trial. At the end of the session, I hope that you can make better decisions as to when and how to use the notes to file appropriately. You have in front of you a slide deck. You also can print this out yourself to use later. We also have two handouts, which you do not need to pull up today in the session, but use as reference materials. I will share those with you as well as we move forward. First of all, let's look at the learning objectives for today. The first thing that we're going to do, and the major thing we're going to do, is to discuss the current overuse and the misuse of notes to file, NTF, including some warning letters written by the FDA that note deficiencies specifically in the note to file. And it will talk to how to handle those. We're going to identify what is an appropriate note to file, because we don't want you to think that you should never use them, but we need to use them appropriately. Some of them will be for patients and data around the patient, and some will not be specific to a patient at all. We'll learn to write an effective note to file when it's applicable, and how to help our sites, perhaps, to write those notes. Because most of the time, the monitor at the clinical trial is seeing these notes in the file that are in the investigator's files. So therefore, it's possible that the regulatory authority could come back to us as sponsors and cite us for inadequate monitoring if, in fact, the note to file has discrepancies in it, or is fraudulent, or is inaccurate. So the monitor should be spending a lot of time on those notes to file, not writing them, but reviewing them and making sure that they do make sense and that they add value to the study. We'll use those reference tools such as the warning letters and citations by the FDA as examples throughout today. There are a number of warning letters that are available to share some interesting evidence to us. And to access those, we just need to go to the FDA website, which is fda.gov, and pull up the index. There's an A to Z index on the site. If you go to W for warning letters, you'll be able to receive the most commonly requested warning letters from the FDA. If you cull through those, you'll see a number of times where they reference notes to file, and we will have a couple of those this morning. Many of the notes to file do not support the documentation the agencies are looking for. And by the way, it would be the same whether it were the FDA or an outside agency such as the MHRA in Europe. So if you're doing international studies, the philosophy would be the same. As we get started then, as an introduction, we want to say that notes to file could also be called memos to file in your world. They're commonly used in sponsor files as well as investigator files. The content of them, again, often does not serve the purpose that they're intended for, or it doesn't serve any purpose at all. In fact, often you'll see it just points to a problem. It highlights a problem. Why do we want to do that? In handout number 1, I'll share that just so you'll see what it looks like. This is a warning letter from the FDA. Hopefully you've not seen any of these, at least cited to your group. But it would be wise to go to the FDA site and look up some of these from time to time. In fact, I like to share them with sites to let them know what could be the outcome of an FDA inspection. A warning letter is a result of multiple times trying to get an answer from the sponsor or from the site itself. If the FDA should come to your site, whether it be an investigator or a sponsor, and they have findings, those findings will be put onto a form called a 483, Inspectional Observations. You as the auditee would be able to then respond to that citation. If they do not agree with your reply, they may come back with a warning letter. So the warning letter is a result of several attempts, not just the very first time they've come to your office. You do not want to be receiving warning letters. This one is just arbitrarily pulled from the website, and you'll see it's to a Dr. Lawrence in Atlanta, Georgia. This is an investigator. And it will tell you when the agency visited this office and what they found. And they'll also tell you what you replied and how that was not appropriate. And they'll ask for another attempt.